This is Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. I'm Mark Alyn, and we are pre recorded for Thanksgiving 2021. We're going to present what kids really love most about Thanksgiving food on this episode of Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. Stay tuned. And no, we're not going to be making pizza on this edition. We're going to be talking about something that, as a kid, I loved to do. Um, and I'm going to show you. I loved olives as a kid. And let me show you. Here's a bowl of black olives. These are from they're called Early California brand. Um, they're non GMO. It says so right on the label on the can. You can see that can there. Um, do you remember putting them on? I don't even know if I can put them on my fingers anymore. No, my fingers are too big. But we used to put them on our fingers and then eat them off, right? Um, I'm gonna eat a couple right now because they're on my hand. Uh, mm, I still love them. Now, honestly, the these olives are not as flavorful as the Sicilian and some of the garlic olives that we've featured on the show in the past. However, you can stuff these with cream cheese. You can use flavored cream cheese. They work really well. And these are really healthy. Now, Early California is 75 years old. Um, Here in California, all the olives in this can were raised and grown here in California. They have one thing that they put in this particular can, and it's called ferrous glutamate. And that's used for a lot of different things. But in olives, it's used to keep the color of the olive, and in this case, black. They do have one that just has sea salt. In fact, this can of olives from Early California only has three ingredients: the olives, sea salt, and the ferrous glutamate. And that's pretty good. A lot of olives used to be um, cured with lye. Now, what's lye? Lye is Drano. Okay, if you want to clean your drain, if it gets stuffed up with peelings or whatever it might be, shrimp shells, something like that, in your garbage disposal, your bathroom, uh, that's what lye does. Uh, it reacts with the water and it burns it away. In fact, if you hold lye in your hand and it gets wet, it'll burn, and it can be severe. So you want to be very careful with lye, and you don't want lye on your olives. So try to find olives that don't have it on their label, like the Early California. Olives are interesting. Uh, when I was in Israel a number of years ago, there are olive trees still producing fruit that predate Jesus, which is really old. That's over 2,000 years old. Some of the trees I saw were 2,500 and 3,000 years old, still producing fruit. Now, the reason lye is used on olives and had been for centuries is because when olives are just picked, they have a bitterness. Today, commercial olive growers and manufacturers still use lye to cut the time it takes to cure the olive. At Early California, my understanding is we're going to invite them to be on the show in the next couple of weeks. They don't use lye; they use salt. We had a friend, Effie Lubliner, who makes his own olives. I guess, about 2 months ago, he makes his own. Doesn't use lye; he just cures them with salt and spices, and that would be great. All right, so let your kids eat the olives. They're very healthy. Okay, no gluten. They do have fat, but it's a good kind of fat. You can get three things from an olive tree. You get the wood, which is beautiful. It's curled and burled, and you can make furniture out of it, and they do. You get the fruit of the olive like this, and then, of course, you get olive oil, which we all know is one of the better oils and fats for you to eat. So let your kids have this. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine, Devin, and she said, Thanksgiving time, they told her, don't play with your food, right? Don't put the olives on your fingers. I'm hoping you'll be able to see this label. If you go to this, here, I'm going to try. Let me move this around. The label, the logo is actually a hand with olives on each of the 5 fingers. I think that's so clever. I think that is really terrific. So let your kids enjoy olives. They're healthy. This particular brand is vegan. There's no gluten. They're kosher. There was one other thing in here. And the company itself has 0 waste. So it's a really good company. I think you're going to enjoy it. One other thing about kids, before I do one other thing very quickly, don't have a kids table. Kids hate that. I hated it as a kid. Carol, did you hate the kids table? I'm sorry? No? You don't even remember. Well, I remember hating the kids table. Let the kids participate at the adults table if you can. Just spread it out. Remember, I didn't like it. I sat with kids I didn't know. Some were bigger, some were smaller. I guess in my late 20s, if I had to sit someplace, I sat at the kids' table to make it more fun. All right. I had one other thing I wanted to talk about. Do you know the difference between stuffing and dressing? The difference is really simple. Stuffing goes inside a turkey, and you have to be very careful with that. Dressing is actually served on the side. It's served on the side, but it's also not baked or roasted into the turkey. And I think that's interesting. My mother used to use Mrs. Cupboardson's traditional stuffing, and everybody loved my mother's stuffing. And I'm going to share with you now her secret. You follow the directions on the box, and you chop into the stuffing some chicken or turkey gizzard. And if you're having a turkey, there's turkey gizzard and heart and all this stuff. Chop it very fine. Saute it lightly. I believe she used butter, but I would use olive oil today. And then mix it in, and it just makes the stuffing absolutely terrific. And I'm talking about Mrs. Cupboardson's because I do like the flavoring. This is not organic, but it doesn't have a lot of superfluous ingredients that you can't pronounce. The only thing in here that may be, there's nothing that I can't pronounce. Thiamine, which is a vitamin, is the only thing. All right, well, we're going to make this short this week. Have a great Thanksgiving. We have a little video coming up in a moment that'll wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving. I'm Mark Alyn. We'll see you next week live at 6 o'clock on YouTube and, of course, on Facebook. I'm Mark Alyn. Carol, thank you very much for great camera work. I'm going to eat some olives. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Wishing you a very happy Thanksgiving. From Mark Alyn Communications, Late Night Health Radio, Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner, and Podclips.io.